Welcome back to the Cozy Cottage Homestead. It's a great pumpkin recipe exchange. Kind of like an old-fashioned recipe exchange, the way we used to do it in the old days. So now we have the internet. So I thought it would be cool to do a modern version of a recipe exchange. And I think I'm going to do this every October. Share recipes using pumpkin, because pumpkin is extremely healthy. I shared that in another video. I will link below the other lovely ladies on my channel that is participating in this recipe exchange. I'll see if I can remember them off the top of my head. A Godly Home, BC Homesteading, and a new subscriber that I'm new to her and she's new to me. Her name is Mama Baird Homestead. So I'm not sure if she's going to participate. She said she was via email, but I know A Godly Home and BC Homesteading are both participating, and I would like for them to ask their subscribers too if they want to do it, because we can just keep sharing more recipes. And I'm sure some are going to be similar, but that's the fun in it. Everybody does everything just a little bit different. So I thought that would be a great fall thing to do, since pumpkins are really plentiful right now. People have pumpkins all over. So lots of people just think of a jack-o'-lantern and Halloween stuff. But pumpkins are actually a very nutritious wonder food that is one of those foods that can keep you alive, just pumpkin by itself. It's that nutritious and that good and that healthy for all of us. So I just want to share some recipes on how to add more pumpkin to our diet. So the first thing that I came up with is an older recipe that I've had for about 10 or 15 years. I have seen it online, very similar to the same thing. It's called the Pumpkin Flatbread or Pumpkin Tortilla. It's very simple, very easy. I think it's only 3 ingredients, could be 4, depending on what spices you add to it. So the first thing we need is a cup of pumpkin. And I did forget to grab my spoon. It is a little messy, so if you don't want to get your hands dirty, this one might be one you want to skip. And for all of my homesteading family, friends, and neighbors, I'm not changing my channel into a cooking channel, so don't fret. It's not going to be changing to a cooking channel, although homesteading and cooking go hand in hand. We grow our own vegetables as much as we can, and then we make yummy food for the homestead for us to eat for supper and snacks and lunches and meals. So homesteading and cooking do go hand in hand. But I'm not just going to go to a cooking channel, so don't fret. Don't think that's what I'm doing, because I'm not. Just needed a break from all the manual labor type stuff around the homestead, and thought October would be a great time to do It's a Great Pumpkin Recipe Exchange. So we have our 1 cup of pumpkin, and we need 1 cup of flour. We need 1 teaspoon of ginger. This is my fresh ground ginger from here on the homestead. About a ½ teaspoon. And about a ½ teaspoon of salt. Alright, so I think that's all of it. 1 cup of pumpkin, 1 cup of flour, a ½ teaspoon of salt, and a ½ teaspoon of ginger. You want to mix it all up. You can mix it with your spoon, but here in a minute that's going to be impossible to do, because you have to really work it in really good with your hands. Now it's time to get in here with your hands. Always keep extra flour close. I already have some on the bar here. Go ahead and get your hands in there. Clean hands, of course. You won't probably ever see me wearing gloves, but maybe once or twice, maybe if I'm processing wildlife or something along those lines. My hands are clean. I don't like the feel of the gloves on my hands. So you can imagine during all this wearing masks and gloves during the pandemic, and me and it didn't get along too well. I don't like anything restricted on my skin. Okay, you can see it makes a nice little ball. You just want to make sure you got everything mixed in really good. And I'm going to go ahead and move this on the counter. I think I'm going to try to move the camera a little closer. Go ahead and roll it around in the flour because it is sticky. Okay, you do want to keep kneading it for a little bit longer. Get some more flour mixed into it. And make sure you have a well floured surface. Just knead it a little bit. You want to just make sure it gets to a little bit better, a little bit stiffer texture. But you don't have to do it for an hour or nothing like that. Just so you can work with it. And it is sticky, so make sure you keep your hands floured, or this will be one of those recipes that aggravates you. Alright, rolling pin. This is my cute little rolling pin. It's antique. You'll find a lot of my stuff is antique. I like the old ways, the old-fashioned stuff. So you want to just roll it out a little bit, and then roll it up again, and fold the ends, and flip it and roll it. Alright, make sure you keep flouring your surface. It's just going to make it a little bit more pliable to where your tortilla flatbread will stick together better. Alright, now this is what I'm going to do next. I like to, for those of you that's seen my cooking stuff before, I try to get it into an even ball. And then I start making it into this like a log. And then I push the sides back together, flatten it out. I kind of make it look like a log. And I didn't like the way that looked, so I'm going to do it again. Push the little ends in, squeeze it, and make it into a little log. And why do I do that? For me, I'm a visual learner. I can separate it more equally by making it into a log than if I just started pinching it off and making little balls with it. So I'm going to cut it in half. Dip my knife in the flour. Then I'm going to cut these in half again. So now I have 4 pieces, right? I'll go ahead and dip it in flour. It's just going to be sticky. Now this is going to make about 8 tortillas, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright. Now, just set those aside. I'm going to hang out over there on the floured surface. I'm going to flatten that out just a little bit. And then I'm going to get my rolling pin. And I'm going to flatten it out some more to make it into a round tortilla. This does take a little time, but it will be very well worth it. They are great little tortillas. Make it whatever shape you want. Of course, round is what you're aiming for. You don't want to flatten them out too thin because it's pumpkin and it will not stick together as well as cornmeal and some other ingredients, because this is just a really neat little thing because it's just so little and it's just fragile because it's just pumpkin. I'm only going to do a few of them, and of course they get better as I go along. The first couple of ones don't look as pretty as some people would like to say. Purdy don't look as pretty. So I'm going to do, I think I'm going to try to do like 4 of them. I think 2 will fit on my little pan over here. And if it falls apart, just stick it back together. It's not rocket science. Just made it back up. Flatten it out just a little bit. And remember, you're working with pumpkin, so it's soft. It's like, it's different than other tortillas you probably have made. But these are extremely healthy and good for you. And tortillas are good for just whatever you would use for a wrap. Today I'm going to use them for a wrap. And I'm going to show you. That one I don't like the way it looks. Did that bother me? No. I'm just going to, you know what, it's aggravating me, so I'm just going to start with another one. I'll do that one in a minute. Don't let stuff aggravate you. It's just food. It's nothing. It's just, don't let it bother you. So if you push it down too hard, it's going to like smash and smear. And then that's whenever it starts wanting to stick. But I'm only going to do half the batch, because I know these cooking videos can take some time. Alright, so that's 3 of them. I'm going to go ahead and get them started cooking. I'm going to, well, I'll go ahead and make one more so that I'll be ready to cook all of them at one time. Just give it a little flat if it's not acting right. Let's work on this little bad one again. Get a little more flour out here. And would you look at that? That one actually looks the best out of all of them. Alright, so we have 4 of them right here. Alright, I moved the camera around a little bit so y'all could see the grill. I have the little iron skillet flat pan on about a medium heat. So hopefully y'all can see how quick and easy it is to fry up these pumpkin flatbreads / tortillas. And if you want to give it a little extra tasty spin on it, put you just a little bit of coconut oil mixed with your vegetable oil, because coconut oil does burn extremely hot. So just be careful with that. Go ahead and get my other one on there. I'm starting to see a couple of bubbles. Can y'all see the bubbles? I'm not very good at angling this, but I guess y'all can see it. Starting to get the little bubbles that tortilla gets. So when it starts getting good and bubbly, I'm going to go ahead and give it that one flip. Once my pan gets heated up, they'll go a lot faster. But I just wanted to do half of the batch just for the tutorial and the video on how to cook them. And then I will show you a couple of ways that we like to enjoy them. I'm kind of out of sorts. I had my camera a little bit different, and kind of got me thrown off on how I normally stand here and cook at the stove. But we will get through it. That one had a little more flour on it. My pan is starting to get a little bit drier. So I will add another little bit of the coconut oil. Just a little bits at a time. And that's going to help it get that little crusty edge on it. And these do store quite well in an airtight container, just like any other tortillas. I'm a little more skeptical of storing them like regular tortillas because of the pumpkin, but apparently it doesn't hurt a thing. Lots of people off-grid make these and store them up, and they don't have any problems with them. So Alright, so I got all of the pumpkin flatbread tortillas done. I have them in my little tortilla bowl. Now I'm going to show you how we enjoy them as a lunch, or it also could be as a snack. So this is the first one. I'll just make up a couple because we're going to be eating lunch here in a few minutes. I just got some lunch meat and some cheese. Set it right there on it. I have one tiny tender pumpkin leaf. I'm actually going to put it on first. And then the lunch meat and the cheese. And then I'm going to add just a little drizzle of the American Beauty Berry jelly. And spread it around a little bit. And then I'm going to flip the meat and the cheese over on top of the green. I'll make one of those and one of the other ones. And then I'm just going to roll it up like you would a tortilla. Set it on the plate. Should have got a real knife instead of a butter knife, but whatever. And you can see how yummy that looks. See if I can do this. So that's one of the lunch or a snack. The next one that I'm going to make is another nice lovely pumpkin tortilla flatbread. The next one is going to be a peanut butter one. You've heard of ants on a log? Well, have you heard of ants in a log? So this is what I'll call ants in a log. Just smear the peanut butter all around, however much you would like. Generous amount. And a few raisins for your ants inside of your log. Just line them down the middle, or however you would like to do it. Then I'm going to drizzle this with a little bit of honey. A little honey dispenser. Just going to drizzle a little bit in there. That should do it. Whoops. Alright. Y'all probably can't see. The lighting in here is bad. I'm trying to beat the sunlight shining in through my kitchen window. But this is the ants in a log. Roll it up. Same thing. Set it on my plate. Cut it in half. Now we would normally have one of each of these for our lunch. And that's what the inside looks like, if y'all can see that. Very good, very healthy, very nutritious. So this was my pumpkin recipe for today that I shared for the It's a Great Pumpkin Recipe Exchange. Hope y'all have enjoyed this little recipe. There are many, many different ways you can use the tortilla wraps. So just experiment with it and stuff them and wrap them and roll them with whatever your family likes and enjoys. I think if y'all give the tortillas a try, that you will actually enjoy them. It does take a little bit to make them and it is kind of messy, but it's very well worth it. They are very tasty and very good. So join me back here next Friday. Every Friday in October we're going to be doing a recipe exchange, and go check out the other ladies in the description box below that are participating in this recipe exchange. And remember, what's better than frugal is free. It is free to like, share, subscribe, and leave me a friendly comment if you enjoyed my content. So farewell, Homestead family, friends, and neighbors from the Cozy Cottage Homestead.